In my anger, I am not blind, and in my fear, I am not afraid to speak. This is a quote from Severin Suzuki, the girl who silenced the world. At only 12 years old, this young girl, with her heart on her sleeve, spoke out against what she saw as unjust and dishonest. Hello everybody, my name is Olivia Foley, and I'm here today to speak my truth, to voice my opinion on the crisis of climate change. I was 10 years old when I first learned about climate change. I was shocked that something so significant had escaped my attention until then. From then on, my interest in the environment and the natural world around me only grew. This highlights the importance of educating the younger generation and spreading awareness on climate change. So, how has climate change affected me? To sum it up in one word, fear. Fear for others, fear for myself, fear for the future. The effects of climate change are endless. Our problems only start with rising temperatures. From there, it sets off a chain-like reaction, jeopardizing the livelihoods of people all across the world. Extreme weather changes, such as droughts, are becoming more and more common, targeting many underdeveloped countries. With little to no investment in irrigation schemes, the likelihood of crop failure only grows. Many people in these countries depend primarily on cash crops, meaning they farm only for profit as a source of income. As a result of this, farmers fall below the line of poverty, heightening the risk of famine. After traveling to Rwanda in the aftermath of the genocide, my mom saw the pain and suffering that comes with poverty firsthand, an experience that will stay with her for the rest of her life. Growing up on a farm, I have always been very close to nature and wildlife. My love for animals grew at a young age and has influenced me throughout my whole life, including the subjects I'm interested in, biology, and my future aspirations to become a vet. It pains me to see the degrading impact climate change has had on the wildlife around me. It is difficult to even imagine what the natural world will look like in the future. Will my future kids be able to have the same experiences as I did? Will there even be any biodiversity to preserve? These are questions that constantly run through my mind, building my fears and challenging my hopes for the future. As a female, I have often contemplated about having kids in the future. However, as my fears for the future grows, I worry if our world will be a suitable environment for them to live. I have considered adopting in the future, as I would be supporting a life that is already born, as opposed to creating a new life, only to be burdened with the consequences of our delayed actions. Is this something that you have to worry about at my age? As a child, no one really takes your opinion seriously. It's difficult to share your voice when you know not many people truly respect it. You can speak as loud as you want, but there's never a guarantee that people will listen. And they usually don't, because what do we know? We're only children. We can't possibly know how the world works. Well, here's what I do know. Climate change is real. We see its effects devastating the world around us every single day. Throughout the past year, it has been hidden, disregarded with the disarray of the COVID-19 pandemic or the recent war in Ukraine. Our governments have an understandable list of priorities, but it is time to cast focus back on the crisis that is climate change. No matter how long we ignore it, it will never go away. With our negligence, it is only getting worse, intensifying all the problems we have previously endured. Put up your hand if you own a phone. That's nearly everybody in this room. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. All the information you need is there in the palm of your hand, accessible at just the click of a button. We are seeing a continued rise in temperatures, increased risks of drought, stronger hurricanes, and extreme floods. And although many countries have taken a step in the right direction, it is not enough without the rest of the world behind them. No great goal will be achieved without an effort, yet we sit around waiting for change to happen without taking the appropriate actions. The leaders of our world are in no rush to step up and make change. We do not have time to wait. We have the potential to reverse much of our mistakes. I'm a strong believer that there is still hope to reshape the damaged future that lies ahead of us. However, we act as if our world is not yet suffering, as if the forest fires, droughts, floods, famine, and death are all reversible. This is just not the case. We cannot undo the destruction our actions have already caused. We can only hope to reduce the damage for the future. According to NASA, the Earth's temperature has risen up to 0.2 degrees per decade. You may look at that number, shrug your shoulders, and say, well, that doesn't seem so bad. But I want to show you what exactly 0.2 degrees looks like in the eyes of a realist. For every year that passes, up to 2,000 species are extinct. For every day that we do nothing, 25,000 people are starved to death. For every breath I breathe, that's approximately 17 deaths, 17 lives gone. Every second, 6.1 acres of rainforest are lost. Can you honestly tell me that that doesn't seem so bad? People are hesitant to act because it does not directly affect them. However, the people who are affected the worst have done the least to deserve it. For many people, climate change doesn't bother them because it may not ever affect them during their life. Does that make it right to do nothing? To leave the consequences in the hands of future generations? I may be a child, but I know that isn't right. I may be a child, but I know that urgent action must be taken. I may be a child, but I fear for the lives of my future children, all because we refuse to open our eyes to the extremity of climate change. I may be a child, but that's why I understand. As you grow up, people often tend to lose sight of the bigger picture. People have greater priorities in their lives, whether it's taking care of their family or even trying to put food on the table. For others, the world suits them perfectly, so why change it? It's just a matter of greed. As human beings, we are wired to put our own needs before others. But this has to change. Sooner or later, our actions will catch up with us. Being here today has given me the chance to speak my mind. Friends Forever International has helped me gain enough confidence to speak up and make an impact, something I wouldn't have even dreamed of doing just a few weeks ago. However, I can only do so much. Words can be influential, but without action, we're making no further steps to achieve our goals. This is why I'm challenging myself, challenging you to question your actions, because without question, there will be no change. Thank you for listening.